Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be doing a full, well, almost full face of Pat McGrath products. I was inspired by Michaela on TikTok. She did a look using the Pat McGrath Mothership 10 palette. And she used the new skin palette, but I do not have that. So what I decided to do was pull out the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I figure that's probably similar formula anyways. But I was very excited to try this eye look out. It just really is beautiful. So I think I was able to pull off something pretty similar. And it's the first time I've worn eyelashes in quite a while, so I'm getting used to that. So if I keep blinking, that's why. They're not heavy or anything. It's just different. And I keep looking at myself and be like, who is she? Anyway, so if you all are curious to see how Pat McGrath products perform, and if you're curious about Day 6 foundation, which is her Sublime Perfection foundation, you all just keep on watching. Oh yeah, don't forget, like, subscribe, all those things too. I've got my fancy little eye patches on. I already did my brows, already did my skincare, and now we're going to move on to do the eyes. Okay, so the first thing is the Pat McGrath Labs Intensifies Long Wear Eye Primer. Pardon the interruption here, but I'm going to do something a little bit different on this video. I wanted to go over what the keynotes are on the website for each of these products, and then show you my application and give you an idea of my thoughts. And that way we can see if I agree with all of the claims. Okay, so this eye primer is called the Pat McGrath Labs Intensifies Long Wear Primer. It is $32 for 5 mLs. The keynotes: boosts color, blurs texture, suitable for all skin tones, crease and smudge proof for up to 24-hour wear. And this is available at Sephora and Pat McGrath website. And it says the shade Clear. I've never tried this before, so I'm wondering if I'm going to need to add maybe some concealer to my lids to cancel out the veins. I'll just use the Pat McGrath concealer, just a touch of that. This one is the shade L5. I use my Sephora 71 brush to blend this out. I just like to make an even base for my shadows. I don't like to have blue and purple veins that might mess up the look. As you can see, it is a full coverage concealer, and it's hydrating. It's a good formula. I really like it. Let's go back into this eye primer. Let me do a little swatch on my hand for you. It comes in just a little doe foot applicator, and it is absolutely clear. So you can see it's kind of like a glossy, clear formula. I guess I should just not read too much into it, you know, just clear. So we're going to put a little bit of this on top of the concealer. So we're double priming, basically. I wanted to try this out today since I'm doing a full face. I have never used it before, so I thought this would be the perfect time to try it out. I'm going to tap with the Sephora 71 brush, just to kind of spread it around evenly. But I don't want to disrupt the concealer too much, so I'm just kind of tapping. That's usually the best way to get an even application. And then take your sponge and press it in. And I'm curious to see if this indeed does anything different for her eyeshadows, because I know how they perform. To set the eye primer, I'm going to use Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder, and I have it in the shade Light. Comes in this pretty little package, has a little tiny mirror, but this is what the powder looks like. I'm going to take it on a brush. Same thing I always do when I set eye primer, I just set it lightly. And that's just so that the shadows will blend nicely on top. And take these off. They've been on for quite a while. Okay, for eyeshadow today, I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction palette. This package is just so pretty. We're going to use that, but I'm also going to use a shade from the What's this called? Divine Bronze Luxe Quad and Venusian Sunrise. So this palette has a deep chocolatey brown and a lighter brown. So I might pull from this. And then I also will use the Makeup by Mario palette just for the light shade in here because I need a light matte. I'm trying to recreate a look from Michaela from TikTok. She posted this look the other day. Let's just say I had to try it. The shade that I'm going to use is this shimmer shade right here. Let me swatch it for you. It is a duochrome. So in some angles, it looks like a pinky purple, and then in some angles, you could just see that reflective shimmer. And on the lid, it almost looked green on her. It was wild. So, also, there's like little hints of blue. It's so cool. I can't wait to put that all over my lid. All right, we're going to start with the Venusian Sunrise palette. The Pat McGrath Labs Divine Bronze Luxe Eyeshadow Quad in Venusian Sunrise is $62. It's currently only at Sephora. I'm going to use the shade Sunset Taupe, which is a warm taupe matte in the crease. And the darker shade Velvet Eclipse is a charcoal brown matte in my outer V. I'm going to take the lightest brown shade and start with that and see how much pigment that has on its own. And then we'll add the deeper brown if need be. But this one is showing up dark already. And what I love about Pat McGrath shadows is that you can build them. So I could blend this out and buff it out and have a nice wash of brown in the crease. And then I can go back in and add another layer and it'll build up the color. I love her shadows. They're not the easiest to work with. They take a little bit more time to blend, but they are stunning, especially her shimmers. Adding one more layer of that same light shade. But let's go into this deep dark brown in my Rose and Bend brush. I love this brush, the E28. It's my favorite to use in the outer V for packing shadow, and you can also use it to blend. But I just want to deepen this up a smidge. This might be too deep. Let me not mess this up. I want to keep the chocolatey brown color. So I'm going to switch back to the 212 from BK Beauty and that chocolatey brown shade we used first and go on top of that because I don't want it to be too dark. Okay. I think that is the level of depth I want to go to. Maybe a little bit more out here just to lift it a little. Okay, let's see what that shimmer looks like. The Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction Palette is $128. It is available at Sephora or Pat McGrath's website. You get 10 shades. The only shade that I use today is the VR Sextasy, which is a shade-shifting duochrome. Along with that shade, you're also going to get Smoky Mattes, Alluring Astrals, and Molten Metallics. Oh, wait. I have one more product. The Pat McGrath Labs Intensifies Artistry Wand is $34, and it is available at both Sephora and Pat McGrath's website, and it just claims to boost metallic and sparkle shadows. The Pat McGrath Intensifies Artistry Wand comes in this packaging, and you just click it up, and it's like a gel. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's almost like a Vaseline kind of stick. I just wanted to add a little bit of that to see if it'll help hold the shimmers, because her shimmers do tend to have fallout. Oh, it's so cool. I'm just going to put it all over the lid. Wait till you see it with liner and everything. It just looks so good. I'll probably put on some lashes because she did, and it really made it just, it brought the whole look together with lashes, put it that way. Now that I've added the shimmer, go into the Mario palette and grab the light shade right here and just buff that under the brow, just to kind of smooth the edges. I'm going to take my 212 brush again into that first brown shade and just add a smidge more, just so we don't lose that shade out here. I just don't want to lose the matte. And something about the brown with that blue shift to this eyeshadow is just stunning. Next, we're going to use the Pat McGrath Labs Permagel Ultra Glide Eye Pencil in the shade Black Coffee, and it also came with a nice sharpener, so I wanted to mention that. The Pat McGrath Labs Permagel Eyeliner Pencil is $29, and I have it in the shade Black Coffee or Espresso Brown. It comes in 5 shades, and it is a gel formula with up to 8 hours of wear. And it is also available at Sephora and the Pat McGrath website. And here is what the pencil looks like. So it's just a rich brown shade. So we're going to use this to line the eyes. I'm just kind of laying some down and then I'll smudge it out. And then I will use it to tightline. I wanted you to see it does go on very easily. It doesn't tug. It's a really nice eyeliner. So the eyeliner did great. I just smudged it out, and I did not have Pat McGrath mascara, so I used my Lancome Lash Idole, and I also threw on some Ardell Demi Wispies. I have not worn lashes in a long time, so I feel a little weird in them, but we'll go ahead and complete the look and see how it turns out. It's been a very long time since I've worn lashes. I already primed my skin with the Tatcha Silk Canvas because I do not have the Pat McGrath primer, and I wanted to use something that I know smooths my skin. And since we're using Pat McGrath, which is very expensive, I went with the most expensive primer that I have. The Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Foundation is $69, and you get 1.18 ounce of product. There are 33 shades available at Sephora and 36 shades available on Pat McGrath's website. I chose the shade LM10, which is a light medium with peach neutral undertones. I did have a little bit of a hard time picking a shade, but I think LM10 works out pretty well for me year-round. It has a medium buildable coverage, weightless feel, 12-hour wear for all skin types. It has a serum-like texture, satin finish, self-setting, and it is also vegan and cruelty-free. For foundation, you have to shake it up. It is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, and I have it in the shade Light Medium 10. It is a very liquidy foundation. It's got a nice frosted glass bottle, and mine is dirty because I use it. I have this little hand palette from Shop Miss A. I'm just going to put it on there, and I'll show you how runny it is. Like, it's very, very runny. I mean, it's super duper liquidy. You have to be very careful. I'm going to use the BK Beauty 101 brush to blend it. And what I'll do is I'll just put some on my brush and show you. I'll start on my chin. See, I have a little pimple there. Let's see if we can cover it with the foundation. Her formula dries down to like a natural finish, in my opinion. It's not matte, but it's not radiant either. It's just a nice natural finish foundation. It's very lightweight, and I would say it's like a medium coverage foundation. It's definitely going to even out my skin tone, but it is not what I would consider a full coverage foundation. I'm trying to see if it covers up that little sunspot I have right there and the freckles. And as you can see, it's having a hard time covering that because it's not full coverage, but it evens out my skin tone. I really do enjoy the foundation and it wears really well. And the shade LM10 is just about perfect. I washed my Stands Out sponge and now I put one more pump on my face and I'm going to spread it around and see if we can build up a little bit of coverage, all while pressing the foundation into the skin. Foundation's actually a little light compared to my self-tan, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And I don't know if I showed you the box that the foundation comes in, but super cute. I do not have contour from Pat McGrath, but I have the Westman Atelier Petite Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Biscuit. I got a new one because mine's literally almost gone. I have just enough to do maybe today, and then it's going to be gone. So I'm going to use this to contour my normal places, my chin, my nose, and I'll do a little on the cheeks to lift and sculpt the cheeks, and a little bit on my forehead. And then that'll be all of the contour. Morphe V105 brush. I've been loving this one for nose contour. Again, I do not have a cream bronzer, so I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury. This is one of my newest cream bronzers, and it's also one of my most expensive cream bronzers, so I figured it would be a good option for this video. So I'm using my Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I'm using the smaller side to kind of place the bronzer where I want it. And then I'll blend it out with the other side that's a little fluffier. Look how easily this bronzer just melts into the skin. I love it. So nice. Same thing for cream blush. I do not have one from Pat, so I'm going to use the Westman Atelier in the shade Petal. And I like to do the same thing with this F4 brush. I like to put the blush on the small side, apply it, and then I'll blend it out with the fluffier side. That way I just feel like I get a precise application where I want it, and then I can softly use the other side to blend. Press it in. Helps diffuse it. All right, let's do some concealer. I've got both shades here, LM9 and L5. The Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Concealer is $34, and you get 4.7 ml of product. I have the shade L5, which is a light neutral undertone, and LM9, which is a light medium with pink neutral undertones. There are 33 shades available at Sephora and 36 shades on the Pat McGrath website. It claims to be a creamy, lightweight, full coverage concealer with a radiant matte finish. I like to go in with LM9 right here to kind of cancel out those purple veins. And then I'll take a little bit out here to do the same. Use the BK Beauty A506 brush to start blending this out. As you can see, it does a very good job of canceling out those purple veins, and it blends so easily. The formula blends really easily, and this brush helps a lot too. It's just a really good concealer formula. It used to get a lot of attention. Everybody had this in their favorites, but you know, there's been a lot of new concealers that come out, and this one's just not as popular. I'm going to take L5 now on top, just like that. The normal amount that I'd normally use, and then a little down the center of my nose. And I might use a little bit of LM9 on my pimple. Blend out L5. I always like to take a little bit in between my brows. And I like to keep it kind of in here to brighten. And then just kind of feather it out over here. Beautiful. Take my Real Technique sponge and press it in. I would say it is a full coverage concealer for sure. All right, I've got it all blended in. Now I'm going to use the shade Light to set my under eyes. And I'm going to use the BK Beauty 108 brush for this. The Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Setting Powder is $34, and you get 0.14 ounce of product. It's available at both Sephora and Pat McGrath's website. There are 4 shades available. I have the shade Light, and I also have the shade Medium. It is a baked formula that offers light coverage and a radiant finish. But I want to tell you now, I do disagree with that claim. I don't think it is radiant. I feel like it is very blurring, and it is a soft under eye powder that is just really beautiful. I'm going to lightly set this with the under eye powder. You know what I might try? The powder on a powder puff and see what that looks like. Well, I think it looks really nice. I like it with the powder puff. It's like a baked formula, so it doesn't pick up a lot at a time, which is good. You don't want too much powder under there. I will say it is a very nice smoothing powder. Never tried her loose powder, but I do have it in the shade Medium as well, the blurring under eye powder. So I might just take this on a puff and set in some areas and see how that goes. And if I need to, I can use like the Givenchy powder or something, but let's just see what this looks like. It's definitely a blurring powder. They've got that right. Shade Medium is making it more my color. I'm going to take a little bit of the Givenchy powder to set the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. I always use the shade 2, Satin Blanc. I love this. The mixture of all the shades works really well for me. Okay. The Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Divine Powder Bronzer is $39. I have it in the shade Nude Honey, which is only available on the Pat McGrath website. There are 8 shades total, but only 5 of them are available at Sephora, and it claims to be a matte finish, buildable, blendable formula. I do have the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer Nude Honey. We'll use this on the IT Cosmetics French Boutique number 4 brush. This is a beautiful bronzer, and it has a nice mirror. It's just a nice soft matte bronzer. The shade is beautiful, and the formula is equally as beautiful. I feel like it's like almost too light for me, but it's buildable, so it works. If you are a light medium skin tone, I think Nude Honey will work for you. It is like and this is a fluffy brush. I could use a more dense brush to get more pigment, but it's a nice in-between neutral shade. Not too cool, not too warm. I really do like it. A little on the nose. Just kind of pinch the brush. The Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Divine Blush Duos are currently only available on her website. There are 6 shades. I have Aphrodite Amore. It is $44. It claims to be a petal soft touch, blendable and buildable, demi-matte and satin pearl finish with all-day wear and a soft focused effect. You get 0.34 ounces of product. And then I'll use the same brush for the blush. I've got the Divine Blush Duo and Aphrodite Amore. So it has like a cool tone and a hot pink shade mixed together. And it's got a nice mirror, and I just mix the two together on the brush. I love it. Blush just brings everything together. Okay, I do not have a Pat McGrath setting spray, so I'm just going to use Charlotte Tilbury today, the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Go ahead and use a little bit of that. The last 3 products that I'm going to use in this video come in the Pat McGrath Labs Mini Nude Venus Lip Trio for $29. Now the one that I'm using is currently out of stock, but they do have a matte version available at Sephora and on her website. You get a mini Lip Fetish Divinyl Lip Shine, mini Lust Gloss, and a mini Permagel Lip Liner, and all are in the shade Nude Venus. The last thing to try is the lip products. I've got the Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in Nude Venus. It's a very pretty shade. It's just a little bit more warm than my natural lip color. Okay, and then I have I don't know, I have to look it up. I really don't know, but it was just a little mini that came in the set. And it's like a mixture between a lipstick and a lip gloss. And the shade is Nude Venus. It's very pretty. And then I have the gloss in Nude Venus as well. And it's just a little mini. It came in a set. It's just a very pretty nude pink shade, and the formula is fantastic. So let me do a little bit of lower lash mascara, and maybe I'll do a little bit of the brown eyeshadow. And that's it. That's a full face of Pat McGrath makeup applied. I really enjoy how this look turned out. It's a little glam, not gonna lie, but I was so intrigued to try that look because of Michaela, and it is very pretty. So I will show you in natural light, and I'll do check-ins. You know how we do here, but I just wanted to show you the full face of Pat McGrath makeup completed. I have no complaints. I love my Pat McGrath products. I do think they are pretty pricey for what they are, but they are beautiful. I can't knock that. This is the finished face. What do we think? I will do a wear test since this is one of the foundations in my 45-ish days of foundation. So I will come back in a little bit and do a check-in. And I'll try to get some outside, like natural lighting shots of this eye look. But it started to rain, so I might not be able to. If I can, I will. See you soon. Well, this didn't go exactly as planned. I wasn't able to film very many check-ins, but I did take some pictures to show you guys how it looked throughout the night. This is a picture with flash, and as you can see, everything still looks really good at this point, and this was around 3 hours. Now this picture is in more natural lighting. I'm standing by the window so you can see what it looks like in natural light. And again, this was around the 3 to 4 hour mark. I'm just in the kitchen cooking, and I was starting to feel a little bit shiny, but it still looked great. Now this picture is around the 5 to 6 hour check-in. I was doing dishes, and I just wanted to grab as many pictures as I could because I was so busy cooking a pot roast meal. I knew I wasn't going to have time to go downstairs and film in my studio lights. So I just decided to take pictures and we could do voiceover check-ins. It's not that big of a deal, but as you can see, my skin does look a little bit shiny, but it's still really beautiful and it held up so well. Again, her products are super pricey, but they are good. Do I think it's worth spending your hard-earned money on? Hey, if you're able to, go for it. But if you're not, that's fine. You can find amazing stuff like I've shown you on my channel at Shop Miss A, Walmart. It doesn't matter. You can find good stuff. You just have to look. All right, this is the end of the night footage. I wanted to show you what it looked like before I took it all off. I do have dim lighting in the background with my vanity light on. And as you can see, everything looks good. It's even still covering up my pimple. The under eyes still look pretty smooth. Might have lost a little bit of coverage under there, but still, everything looked amazing at the end of the night. I love Pat McGrath. And in my opinion, her products do live up to all the claims. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.